Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Today we're gonna have, well, you already see it because they're typing, so there you have it. It's gonna be a Protoss versus Terran game. We have Best, one of the best Protosses in the world, maybe the best macro player out there, in the bottom right. And in the top left, we have Rush. The map is gonna be Polypoid. And I mean, this is a great match. These guys are both top 4 in their race for sure. And I would say both of them, this is their best matchup. Right? Yep, definitely. Definitely. So this is a killer matchup between the two. Really looking forward to this. Hope that you guys have been enjoying ArtosisCasts as these two just continually talk to each other, having a good time. I do ask that you subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate that. And of course, you know, if you would like to leave a comment or, you know, like the video, things like that are always super, super helpful. Help the videos get discovered by more and more StarCraft fans or people that don't know that they're StarCraft fans yet. Because honestly, like, this is something that I've figured out, guys, over time, is as soon as you start to actually understand something, it becomes pretty interesting. So many things that I thought throughout my life, I'm like, that's boring, that's lame. As soon as I actually learned something about them, I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty darn interesting. That is kind of cool. And you start to appreciate it. Now, I think I'm fairly certain about this. I might be slightly biased, okay? I want to point out I might be slightly biased. But I think probably if everyone knew a reasonable amount about everything in the world, StarCraft 1 would be all that people would do with their time. Okay, now hear me out. It's the hardest game ever made. It continues to just grow and change, and it has endless improvement in every direction. I mean, how can't you just absolutely love this? So we need basically to get more people to check this out, and the way that we do that is you guys being great, leaving your comments, leaving your likes, and doing all that, spreading the word of Brood War. So thank you for doing that, guys. So anyways, let's get into this. We have a little bit of a dance going on there. Rush decides, you know what? You're faking. You're not top right. I think you're bottom right. And he will go down here. This is a cross-spawn Nexus first. So we can already tell that Best is a better player than Rush because he's cross-spawn and he's gone for a Nexus first. And in fact, this looks like it's probably greedy Nexus first. If it's one gate Nexus first, right? There's, yeah. Wait, he turned? Oh no, he's doing End Scout? Is he really? Oh, rough. So he's making the 3rd Marine. Now, okay, and it is actually going to be 2 gate at least, so we have a little bit of probe skipping going on. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit of probe skipping. Well, he's actually not even starting a Zealot. Well, he figured out that he's top left, so you probably don't even need a single unit there. A lot of how powerful a Nexus first is how greedy you are with it. So in your cross spawn, you can like literally just make probes nonstop and skip zealots and like go late second gate, and you're actually in very good shape. Like, look, he didn't make a zealot. It's insane how good that is. Now, you know, Rush will get up here and scout. It's like, oh man, the second gate just finished. He just started his command center and the Nexus is already done. So that probe count is going to get up a lot higher. He should be up about 6-7 probes at the end of this. By the time that Rush stabilizes by making continual workers off of both. So yeah, it's a tough opener here for Rush. You know, this is like basically the hardest thing in the game to play against is cross spawn Nexus first. The pros are all in agreement on this. It's just like Protoss gets a pretty sizable advantage. And you can see that he's not even consistently making units because he's just trying to make sure he's consistently making probes. So we'll see what number he's at, and of course he's going to be able to jump up that tech tree as well. I'm actually, what I'm interested in from Best here is how quickly does he take his 3rd, right? Because I think what we're going to see probably is Robo Observer 3rd. But we'll see. We'll see. Looking at Rush, he's going for mines. He is mining quite a bit of gas, and he might go 3rd command center on location. That is a possibility. I wouldn't go for it yet. In fact, the probe sees the SCV come up, which kind of gives it away. So Best here actually has some possibilities. Like, he could actually add another gate, and if this gets started, Rush will likely die. Okay, but does he add another gate, or is he just going to go Nexus? You see, there's so much back and forth here. The probe being up here and seeing the SCV gave so many more options. Because obviously, you know, as a Terran player, I get into these positions a lot as well. And if the probe sees my SCV try to go to the third, if I screw up and allow that to happen as Rush just did, because you could just send your Marines up, right? And just make sure nothing's there to see. Because when they see it's a third, there is the possibility that they set up for an attack, right? Because like right now, okay, there's mines around, but he is going towards observer, right? There's the observatory. So, you know, there is possibilities of knocking this down. As is with Best going for this additional Nexus. I forget. I'm actually like kind of all over the place right now. Sorry about that. But I forget if I actually mentioned, like, if they see this, because they can kill it, you can change what you're doing and do something like armory, second factory, go into a 4-fact third base, that type of thing. But here, this is going to work out best for Rush. Because Best is taking his third Nexus, but it's not faster than the third command center. Best is up in workers, but it's not, you know, it's not the end of the world because we are going to have 3 command centers just producing SCVs nonstop. So as long as Rush macros this outright, which it looks like he will, he should be completely fine and in a pretty good spot. Now, looking back at Best space, he has added a third gateway. He has a spread of Dragoons preparing for a possible Vulture drop. So you can see he doesn't know that it's the third. Even though his probe saw the SCV, he might be looking at that and saying, I saw the SCV, I think he might back up and do something else, right? Like maybe he was thinking about that and then maybe he's going to go into a drop, right? You never know exactly. Either way, more factories being added. I actually don't know if siege mode is done yet. It's kind of an interesting aspect of this. The worker counts are very, very close. We're getting up into the 40s. So this has all been pretty clean for Rush, considering it was a Nexus first. I still definitely give just a slight advantage to Best. He has some more options here. He actually starts +1 air and double Stargate. So what is considered the strongest overall build in the game, and I've talked to pros in Korea about this. Cross-spawn Nexus first into a carrier rush is considered the strongest thing, because the cross-spawn Nexus first already, it's like you can't really punish it because it's so far away. And then if you try to attack it, if you try to attack cross-map, right, because it's further away, there's a lot of paths your opponent can walk around, slow you down, or counterattack on. Now, just because it's the Nexus first, there's no real attack timing because they get their production up really quickly and really cleanly, so they're just going to have a lot of units, which allows them to go into carriers. And carriers make the game into a math problem quicker than anything else. Okay? So this is an important thing to think about, right? Carriers make things into math problem. A lot of things in StarCraft are finesse. With carriers, it's more about numbers. Because the carriers get so efficient, it's like, no, you have to have so much that you just bulldoze through the carriers, where the carriers have to play defensive or the Protoss is giving up too much. Because if the carriers can harass and they can slow your push and stuff, then you're basically just going to lose. The carriers are going to be way, way too efficient. So, yeah, this is incredibly strong. I'm definitely predicting a Best victory here. Now, I think... Okay, we hear some scans. Okay, he just scanned the carriers. So we see this up here, but he should not start a 4th command center yet. What he should do is stop making SCVs, only add factories, get as many factories, at least 9. So he's going 6, 7, 8. All right, so 8 factories is pretty darn good. He's got a lot of extra minerals from this, and he is trying to go up as far as upgrades. Science facility is almost done. He's going to start 2-1, which is very, very good, obviously. Best, by the way, has a 4th Nexus. And he doesn't have that strong an army, just like a group and a half of Dragoons or so walking around the map, making sure there's not mines, trying to catch anything coming in. Rush needs to make sure he's not wasting units. Like, this is really going to come down to one big, big, big attack, where if Rush messes it up at all, Best wins. Now, there might be a scenario in which Rush just wins with the attack, but there also are scenarios where it turns into a macro game with a lot of push and pull all over the place. Anyways, the Vultures are coming over and try to do some harass, and in fact, there's no Dragoons at home, so he really outmaneuvered Best there. And this is absolutely worthwhile. Ooh! Loses a few, but that's all right. Gonna go after a few of these probes as well. Best did not overproduce probes. He really stopped it just about the magic number. So, you know, he's gonna lose a few, and he lost some zealots there. But obviously that was a chunk of supply for Rush, which I feel like you do have to be careful on that. 2 carriers are already out, so we're on, like, in about a minute, we're gonna have 5 carriers here, which are gonna start to really turn the game into the favor of Best. Now, a lot of mines on the side. What Rush is trying to do here is set up an area that he knows Best is not going through, right? So, like, for instance, if you can mine up one side of the map, then you know, if you're saying, okay, Protoss is in this area, okay, that's gonna help you a lot. Whereas if you're like, I don't know, he's somewhere. If you know he's not on one of your flanks, that's very useful. So anyways, the carrier's coming up. Best removing a bunch of the mines here. Lots of Goliaths being made. And, I mean, Rush is going to have to figure out how to do this, because here's the problem, okay? When 5 are out, that's already very scary. When you get... Basically, these are the numbers. 2 carriers suck. 4 is good, but manageable. Above 4 gets insanely scary, insanely quickly. So he's about to go to 5, and then he's going to go to 8. If 8 carriers are out, you're not going to win this game. Like, Rush's economy is not big enough to win this game against 8 carriers. Later on in the game, like, let's say Rush had half of the map and 8 carriers out. Okay, he can win that. At this position, no, he actually needs to make something happen. So he kind of has to push here. Now, while he pushes, he should be expanding. You can see double command centers going down during this push. And he needs to kind of box Best back. You can see Best here. He's joining up his carriers. He's kind of getting ready for a big engagement. I think he just wants to pick units off. Because if he can build the carrier count up to, like I was saying, right? If he's getting up to 8 carriers, then 11 carriers, the game will end. Just organically. It's just like, again, a math problem. You don't have enough to kill that. So the carriers right now, they're picking off what they can. Taking a little bit of damage there. That's, you know, gets into the whole damage a little bit on that one. Backing up. Okay, he's going to attack in as the tank siege. Best backs up. Really well done. This is like a perfect dance on both sides. They're both playing this really, really phenomenally. They both understand this position super well. But 3 more carriers are about to pop. So, like, Rush needs to continue to push forward. Don't forget, it does take time to build the interceptors. So, it's not like they pop out and the game ends. You still have time. You know, if you're reducing those interceptor counts, that is helpful. And Rush continues to push. As soon as he sieges, Best backs up. Okay, loses a couple goons, but he's going to go over to this high ground, make it a lot harder to push up. A lot of interceptors being made. The 3 additional carriers are out. So now we're on 8 carriers. That is incredibly scary. They already have +2 attack as well. Rush going to continue to try to push up this hill. He's coming for him. Let's see if he actually has enough here. His siege tank count is still pretty healthy. He's got a lot of vultures in there. The Goliath count is not that high to deal with 8 carriers, but the carriers are not full of interceptors, so that makes a huge, huge difference. You know, it's 8 carriers with full interceptors will absolutely demolish this, but he doesn't have that many, so we're going to have to see how it goes. And the Dragoons, well, the ground army has been really heavily reduced. He might end up getting this Nexus. It is a possibility. Right now, Best pulls back, and he's just massing out interceptors, throwing out zealots as he can as well. And this is getting kind of scary. Oh, my God. Coming up, and it looks like Rush going to pull back slightly here. So he's not pushing for the Nexus, and I think if he did push for that Nexus, he'll lose everything. So this is good decision-making, but it is becoming a little bit grim. In the meantime, there was just a couple random units sent up here that unfortunately canceled that base, but at least he has this up, so he does have 3 gases, which is going to be pretty solid as far as Goliath production. He's going for +3 ground attack, skipping the armor, which when you're low on gas is the right thing to do because you just have to produce so many Goliaths. His siege tank count is low, right? The goons are what you need siege tanks against. The zealots, not as much. A little bit, but not as much. You can make more Vulture Goliath to deal with zealots. But the Dragoons could be a little bit scary, but 5 tanks versus 11 goons, not perfect. Not perfect, especially considering the carriers can pick them off pretty quickly. By the way, the carriers finishing up a lot of these interceptors. We are about to be on 11 carriers. So there's 7. I guess maybe he lost one. I wasn't paying attention. So we're going to be on 10 carriers then, is what it is. So 10 carriers is insanity. I like to think of it as like, it's like a flying base. It's just constantly gaining you an advantage economically because, like, This is the most cost-efficient thing in the game. It way outscales mech. Like, as you get a mass fleet of carriers, they actually kill everything. And again, I have to mention, except for a defiler. One defiler beats all these. But yeah, nice little raid here with the vultures, really reducing that probe count, which is kind of nice. But yeah, basically oh, he does have 11. Okay. Oh wait, no, that's 9. He just didn't bring this over. Sorry, I just saw the odd number. Anyways, right now, Rush has tried to max out, and he's actually done a really good job. And this is, I think, a great play from him. He's maxing out. But the next step, when you start getting the carrier numbers you want, you go into Psystorm. Once you have Psystorm, the Goliaths just get less and less and less cost efficient because they clump up and you just storm them like they're Hydras. So Best has almost completed, what is it called? The Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. It's, you know, the Thanos thing. Definitely this is evil. So that makes sense. Yeah, Best did nothing wrong. I get it. He did go Nexus first cross spawn into carriers, though, and you can see how ridiculous that can be. Oh, my God. Loses a carrier. Loses 2 carriers. Great pickoff's going to kill a 3rd. Best being a little bit sloppy here. Oh, my God. Rush punishing immediately. Definitely a big mistake there from Best. Losing 3 carriers for 0 doesn't even make sense. And now he's a little bit trapped. The rest of the units moving forward. This is not that big a ground army from Best. Oh my God. Rush has somehow boxed these carriers in. Now he's going to have to keep checking because Best wants to slip out. If Best can get like to here, he's going to be fine. But that's easier said than done. Now out comes an attack here by Best. Oh God, he Psystorms all the tanks. The ground army going to fall. Now as he kills this army off, what we need to see from Best is moving over to hit the Goliaths. If he can free his carriers, he's going to be good to go. He's going to have, like, basically everything he needs at that point. We've added another factory during this time as well. Oh, the carrier's trying to get out. He needs to micro here really heavily. Rush does. He needs to get up this ramp. He needs to punish. He cannot let these things get away for free. If he can kill all of them, maybe he can just come back in a regular macro game. Possibly. He's actually got a lot of minerals right now. Definitely can make a lot more units. His factory count is a little bit low to pump out as many as he needs, but it looks like 7 or so are going to get out. Maybe he loses 1 on the way out as well. All right, so loses 1. Oof, not quite another one. Okay, where are we at in this game? So we have 6, 7, 8. Oh man, it's still really high count. Best has taken another base. I mean, I think he definitely is going to want to take another main pretty soon here. That's going to make it just so much harder for anything to happen from Rush's attacks. But Rush has a really good army right now. He's moving forward. He has those very important 3-2 upgrades. Is he going to be able to break through? You know, this is his army smashes this. Honestly, it smashes this and it beats the carriers. It's about using this together. Right? So Best has to make sure that either he gets rid of the siege tanks or he gets rid of the Goliaths, right? So like if he can imbalance the army. See, he just picked off 2 siege tanks. That's what he was doing there. He's like, okay, we'll give a lot of interceptors and kill siege tanks. Because if you get rid of the siege tanks, suddenly the army is going to fight so much better against the Goliaths. You're going to get up there, you're going to get those Psystorms off, and it's going to start to go into your favor. Now, that's what he's trying to do. The siege tank count has been greatly reduced. There are some mines in here. Those could be double-edged swords. Or double-edged shields, I guess, makes more sense because you're not attacking with the mines. Double-edged shields, yes. Shields with thorns on both sides. The carrier count up at 8. Brings the observer down for some better vision. I would love to see a scan on that. You don't want... Yeah, see, he's starting to clear the mines out with the carriers. Of course, that is going to be a little bit expensive because he's going to start losing some interceptors as well. Oh, Vulture's running up. I hear the deaths of High Templars. So kills 2-3 High Templars there. Pretty nice. Loses those Vultures, but that's okay. Rush needs another base. He is trying to take one here, and it looks like he should be able to secure that one. Yeah, he's barely mining at this point. He's got this base and like a few patches left up here. Carrier's continuing to try to just pick everything off. He is up at 10 once again. Kind of a wild game right now. Rush is keeping him back. I like how Rush is just trying to reinforce this position and just keep Best still. Now, Best is sending out his army. So he's looked at this and said, oh, you're not pushing me. So if you're not pushing me, I'm going to counterattack. So he's going to try to counterattack here. You can see the SCV is going to ramp. They're trying to block these units from getting up, because if all these units get up there, he loses the base. If he can block them from getting up, it buys time for the rest of his army to come and kill this army. So Best pulls that to the side. In the meantime, the carriers come back out. He's trying to make this army split incorrectly. But all the Goliaths are staying for this, and the ground units are coming over for this. So great plays here, again, from both sides. They're both, I mean, these guys are literally like top 4 ASL material, right? We know that. We've seen it countless times, and you can really see that reflected in the decision making on both sides. They're both doing absolutely fantastically with that. Now, Best rotating around with the carriers, saying, well, you know, I'm not just going to sit there and feed you interceptors all day. So he does force a cancel on that very quickly. Rush instantly with the counterattack, deciding, you know what, those carriers are out of position. This is my chance for some damage, and he should be able to get a little bit. But the carriers are coming back pretty quickly. The mines saw that very nicely. The Goliaths are trying to come back, but he's going to end up losing quite a bit here, unfortunately. It feels like Rush did rotate too far with those Goliaths. Okay, he is going to be able to push those back a little bit. He is going to lose some of this. And there is that counterattack once again. But unfortunately, Best just on attack move. One Dragoon gets him stuck because it was attacking a turret. All right, we'll start to get up there, and he should be able to kill this base. In the meantime, the siege tanks being picked off. A couple of Psy Storms going down onto the Goliaths here as well. The carrier count might be too much. Like, he's up in the area where he can actually kill, like, everything. He's got +3 attack, +1 plasma, +1 armor. Really good stuff. And you can see, okay, well, more units here. The Goliath fighting, he's going to have to bring those siege tanks up. Still, there's enough units here to kill this base off, which is a problem. The carrier's coming over once again. And, well, with the Psy Storms, he's got to be careful. He can't close on the carriers, right? With these underneath, you cannot close on them. This attack is getting rid of this base, so he's getting rushed down to, like, 1 base. And yeah, Best right now, it feels to me like he's very close to taking this game, and that's gonna be a GG called by Rush. I think that Rush played positionally really well. My favorite thing I saw this game was when he was holding this area. That was very smart. He was just keeping Best still. To be fair, Best messed up when he lost 3 carriers over here. This was like a needless thing to do. He was so far ahead, 11 carriers at that point. You can just kind of like bring your army and carriers together wherever you're going and battle the Terran. So he did kind of prolong the game like that, but Rush made the best of it in the toughest thing that there is to play, basically, in StarCraft 1. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.